can only do
I'm
one
not
at
all
a
on
time.
milk. Yeah. Parsec, you
I'll
say?
work on my intros, man.
Yeah. We need to get that sorted out. Yeah.
Streamy,
Beep-a-doop-a-doo-doo.
streamy, stream.
Dee-da-boop-boo.
Boop,
Yeah, I
buddy,
like it.
boo.
Listen, we have to start somewhere, right? We can't just... It's important.
Can't just come up with Freebird on your first attempt. I don't actually know how Freebird goes. I just know the meme.
Well, it's long, is what it is. In one of the Guitar Heroes, I think Freebird was the last song. I want to say Guitar Hero 2, I think. It was the end song to play, which Guitar Hero 3 was Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force.
There's a song that Alex learned to play on guitar, and I've heard it so many times, and it's just like an instrumental song, so if I ever get it in my head, I just have to be like, oh, wait, do you know, what's it called? Cliffs of Dover?
Yeah.
By
I don't
Eric
remember who made
Johnson.
it, but yeah, Cliffs of Dover. I played all of the Guitar Hero games. Honestly, I wonder how many people Guitar Hero taught rock songs and stuff for, because they were huge, and I played all of them, and it was great fun. Well, not all of them. I played 1, 2, 3. I don't think I played anyone else.
Hero game.
But what?
Never had a Guitar Hero game.
Okay, I didn't hear anything for a long time, and then I just heard video game. So I don't know
Video
if that's
game.
something you did, but yeah. They're good. They're fun. I miss them, honestly, kind of. I look around. I'm looking for another rhythm game with a lot of great songs and stuff. And Beat Saber's all right, but there's not a ton of songs, and a lot of them feel kind of samey. There's a few packs.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
They're all kind of decent to good, electronica songs. It's fine, but you kind of want. What I often like in games like this is to play a song I really know. That's what I really enjoy.
Yeah. Because then you can get into it.
Yeah, and there are a couple of packs, but it's mostly people I don't really like as much. There's some few, but it's there are custom songs, but then you have to install side quests on your Oculus and download from website, and most of those songs are made mega hard, like expert plus level, and I'm like, bro, I can just about do hard. This is ridiculous, Yeah. So then you get to play the first 10 seconds of a song. It's I'm like, all right, well let's give Megalovania a go. It's and then stops. So even if you fail, it just stops because you can't play anymore. So I went into practice mode. So okay, well, surely even on practice mode, if I fail, it'll just keep me going. Nope. No, if you don't do enough notes on that one, it's because in base Beat Saber, there's difficulties for all the songs, but in customs, obviously, people don't always do all the difficulties. They could decide what they want, and a lot of them are made for Super Pro Beat Saber players, and I'm not that yet, so I would just like to play more songs.
I wish it was audio surf. Just easy to just chuck a song in.
You chuck a song in and it creates it automatically,
Yeah.
That'd be really nice.
I used to love audio surf.
Me too.
Have you tried Ragnarok?
Ragnarok?
Yeah, it's
ROCK.
Yeah, it's another Oculus game, but it's you are on a Viking
drums,
ship,
right?
and you're playing the drums at the back. Yeah. But again,
no, I haven't.
There's only so many. That tends to be quite samey songs because it's all just metal.
It's all
Viking metal songs.
Yeah, exactly.
But it feels cool still.
Yeah. The problem I often find with games like that is that you like them for a bit, and they're that's pretty cool, and then you just sort of don't go back. It's not quite long enough, and that's what I found for Beat Saber. I had really a lot of fun with it, but then eventually it's well, kind of already done these songs. I don't have the pressure to like go back and beat the high score or whatever, like, which I kind of sometimes did for Guitar Hero, because I don't know, because I think it's because I have no previous connection to those songs in Beat Saber, because they're oftentimes just made for Beat Saber, or they're kind of random songs. It was kind of cool to play like Skrillex, some of Skrillex's songs. So like, oh, I remember them when everyone played Skrillex all the time. That was kind of okay, but yeah. I want to play Final Fantasy songs. I want to play Megalovania. I want to play like, I don't know, meme songs. Like
you're saying Megalovania. I thought you said Megalomania as in the song by Incubus. I was like, it's a very specific song to come out with.
No, Megalovania.
No, that makes more sense.
The Undertale song. The best song on the soundtrack. Up there with a bunch of others, but yeah. Yeah,
I had a truth or poop redeem.
Okay.
So I'm going to read it out for you, and you can see if you think this is true or false. Or poop. Sperm whales in the Caribbean have an accent.
I'd say that's true.
Or poop.
I say that's true.
I've heard things about this before. I'm going to do a poll.
A poll? Okay.
Poll. Have you recovered from yesterday?
Who do you have a Russ? Oh, I accidentally clicked run an ad. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong button.
Gosh.
I'm not running an ad.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Money grabbing from really.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Greedy streamers. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you just need the money. What I meant to do was check if you had accepted my squad stream invite yet, and you haven't. So.
I have. I thought I clicked on it. Oh yeah, it still has a thing.
Yeah, there we go. Bam.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah. Do you have what's
Someone
it called?
got there before I did.
Yeah.
A Rossabo?
Do you have a Rossabo working for you today?
I don't think I have a Rossabo.
My editor in chief is currently having internet issues, so I'm having to do things on my own.
Australian internet?
Well, I mean, I don't want to throw all of Australian internet under the bus, but yeah.
Australians often do. The number of times I've said to someone like, "Oh, do you want to play Dota?" and they're just like, "On Australian internet? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like,
well, that might, to be fair, that might not be their internet's bad. It might be just lag time, latency. So.
Yeah. True. Boop, 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 boop. I found yesterday more intense than I thought I was going to. In my mind, I was like, it's just playing PlateUp. Just, this is fine. And then I was really like, oh my gosh, I'm actually quite, not stressed, but just like into it.
It's Vea. I was saying yesterday when I was chilling on Discord, like one of the side benefits of being with Brian and Kirsty, from alongside of being carried, was that you two now get to see how it feels to be in the tournament and feel the stress and feel the adrenaline of like, you gotta sort out this kitchen, you gotta rush, you know, like, yeah, that's what we all felt last time, you know? Yeah. Because, yeah, it was basically the same. Like, you a game that normally is really chill, where you can take your time and think, now just gets, you know. It was, it was fun,
I mean,
though.
I'm glad that you two were calling the shots, because I've never done, like, that was the first time I've ever done a bingo, so it was very, like, I'm not used to thinking in that way. So there were times I would have made completely the opposite decisions. But I was overruled and we won, so what does that tell you?
Well, yeah. Well, it was close, though. It was close. I mean, if the other team had been a little bit luckier, we would have lost. They just needed, like, one more Halloween floor.
Yeah, but we were sort of stumped by the Halloween thing as well, weren't we?
Yeah. We were also trying to get that, but we never got it. So eventually we were just like, well, I guess we're not getting that one. Our main thing was the damn dishes, like trying to get the dishes done. Probably took us maybe 20 minutes.
It was the tricks.
Yeah.
There was such an element of chaos on the tricks.
Yeah. If we had lost, like, we probably lost at least 15, 20 minutes trying to get that one. Like, we were working on other stuff at the same time, but, like, We ended up having to restart, and it took forever until we finally got it.
Yeah. Is boopy. I can tell you.
Yeah?
It is true.
It is true. I knew it.
Study has found it to be true by collecting and analyzing over 4,000 whale calls in the Caribbean. Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean? Or is it much of a muchness?
Caribbean, I usually say.
Caribbean.
I think it's supposed to be Caribbean, but I say Caribbean. I don't know why.
Scientists have found that all sperm whales produce one particular coda, a pattern of clicks, that identifies the speaker as being from the Caribbean. So there you go. It takes young whales at least 2 years to master the accent.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's like learning to talk, you know?
Yeah. Other animals shown to have dialects include rock hyraxes, monkeys, and many birds. I don't know what a hyrax is.
First time chanter in my chat from Mr. Mulder says, I arrived just in time to hear you guys talking about my field of study. Interesting.
Oh,
so you're studying like whale accents, specific whale accents, yeah. Interesting.
What are the chances of that? Of all the topics?
I remember, I remember hearing about there was this one whale whose whale song was different than all other whale songs. It was on like a different frequency or whatever.
Oh, is this the lonely whale?
Yeah, the lonely whale.
Talked about?
Yeah, who eventually found another whale with the same thing, same mutation level. So no longer lonely whale. The 52 hertz whale. It's no longer lonely.
I love the thought that it's just a whale going around being the equivalent of going like, "Hiya!" Like, oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. And it's like, I don't know who's that. I don't want to be, like, you know, that sort of thing.
Isn't it weird that your voice is such a gamble? Like, when you're born, you don't know what your voice is going to sound like, and what if you just have really bizarre... So I guess voices they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I mean, they do.
Sizes?
But like, a voice is part of your genetics, right? Like part along the other things that evolve about you as a person and become a thing. Like there can be some changes, like, you know, how you've used your vocal cords and stuff during if you've done a lot of screaming metal, you know, like you know, if you've smoked a lot or in other ways damaged your vocal cords, you get another type of voice, that sort of thing. I was thinking of this yesterday. I was watching The Expanse, and the main character has this sort of like, I think that's what we gotta do. It's very important. Together as a group, like that classic leading man, badass voice, general. And I'm like, well, I mean, I wonder if he actually talks like that, because this is my normal voice. But if I really wanted to, I could keep this voice going. Maybe I decided, well, also just keeping it a little bit darker. I'd be like, if I from the very beginning was like, hello everyone, I'm Rydian, welcome. Today we're about to stream Ace Attorney Chronicles. I'm playing with Briony. And that if I did that long enough, I'd be used to it. And then people are like, oh yeah, that's Rydian's voice, you know? But
well, it's like one of my lovely mods used to stream, and I think I can't remember what it was, but he had something set up on his computer in a strange way that just gave him like a really low voice. And he obviously couldn't hear himself back, so didn't realize. And then for ages we just thought like, oh, he's just got a really low voice. And then he like the first stream where he was like, oh, hang on, there was a weird setting, I've changed it. And we're like, oh, you sound completely different. It's really weird.
Yeah. There's been a study done about whales that accents and songs that trends that move around the world, kind of like our music trends. That's cool.
Oh.
That's cool. So they have like a song they like singing, and then some people, have you heard this song? And then they start singing, and it moves around the world. That's cool. Whale.
It wasn't Cosmic, it was Rob. I had a dream about one of my mods last night, that we went on holiday together. And we stayed in the same hotel as Michael Fassbender.
I see, okay. Surely he had a fancier room than you guys.
I never got to see his room.
Oh, I see.
We just met in the lobby.
Yeah, he's like, oh, hello. Yeah. How if you see someone famous, how do you like react? Do you do like a wave, or do you just sort of notice them and move on? Do you walk up and say hi, I love your work, or like what's the idea?
It depends, because I once saw Mark Heap of was it Fast Train? Was that what he did?
I don't know who he is.
If you Google him, you'll probably recognize him.
Mark Heap.
He did, he's in like a lot of British comedy things. I saw him on the tube, but his name escaped me, and I was too scared to go up to him because I couldn't remember his name.
Okay, I've seen him.
But I was like a really big fan, but his name had just out my head, so I was just I can't go over
Hi, I know
and be
you.
like,
who are you again?
You famous man. So I was just like, so I just sort of watched him go by. Like,
I recognize him mostly from Spaced, I think.
Spaced, of course. I forgot he was in that. He was Brian, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Hello, Brian.
Spaced is a cool show.
But I guess I sort of got used to working with famous people in my old job. So I was just sort of like...
You were around like movie stars all the time, just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I would like recognize, but I wasn't that particularly like hugely fussed about. But then occasionally you'd meet someone who was like a big deal to you, and then I sometimes would just get a bit like, oh my god. But you have to try.
So in that case, did you go up and talk to them, or did you just not do anything?
I did. I talked to Mark Williams. Was probably he's sort of most known from the Fast show and being Ron Weasley's dad in the films.
Okay.
Mr. Weasley, but he.
Why did I think David Thewlis was Mark? David Thewlis was.
He's
was
the
he?
teacher.
Oh yeah. Lockhart. No, not Lockhart. Lupin. Yeah.
Remus Lupin.
Yeah. Does he?
I never met him. I would have been starstruck if I met him.
Yeah. Do you know what I enjoyed, by the way, on your Discord? I'm not gonna call out some people, but I'm gonna mention it. Like people saw the names of the Wolfpack team. And they saw like they're called Sirius and Lupin. Must be massive Harry Potter references. And I'm like, no. And Remus too? Wow, it really is Harry Potter. No. That's not what it is.
I don't know any other famous Remuses. Definitely didn't found anything at all that I know about.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, I'm not about to mock someone for not knowing like ancient history or whatever, ancient mythology. But it is funny how like you see something and that's where I first heard it. And I'm like, well, it's Niles, he does this all the time. Like he has a quote that is like the most generic quote. It's like, where's that from? And it's like, it's from everywhere. No, it's from Star Trek. Like, no, okay, you might have heard it first time in Star Trek, but trust me, people say it all the time, everywhere.
Hey,
in the
how's
history.
It going? Who said it? It's Star
straight
Trek.
out of Star Trek Next Generation. It's Picard to Kirk or whatever. Yeah.
Wizard met No Tail. I was so nervous asking for a photo that I kept failing to put it on selfie mode like a tool. I would be the same if I met the Big Daddy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I find it. I don't
any
know.
of that year's OG team, I think I'd be like.
Yeah, When I
if I met Puppy though, I'd be like meh.
In 2009, DreamHack was going on in Sweden, and I was there working on staff. Sort of staff, basically. I was there with my brother's esports site at the time, and we were running the some of the tournaments there, Warcraft and Dota, and the winning team, I think at the time they were called the Button Bashers, contained Loda and Ake, who then went on to become the Alliance and stuff. And I was there, and I handed them stuff, and I said congratulations, and also in Swedish because they're Swedish. That was before I knew who they were, though. So then, retrospectively, later on, Dota 2 comes out, and I watched them in TI3, and I'm like, wow, those are those guys I talked to. That's cool.
I had that with I worked with Ramesh Ranganathan.
Yeah.
Back when he wasn't really known in a big way, because obviously now he's got like TV shows and podcasts and all of this stuff. But I remember when I first saw him on TV, like years later, I was like, I know that guy.
I know that guy. Yeah.
He filmed an episode of Holby City where he had to cancel a date because he fell off a ladder and got a screwdriver penetrated into his chest.
Oh, damn.
And that's where I knew him from. I was like, he had a screwdriver in his chest when I met him.
It's like, hi, you're the screwdriver guy. He's like, what?
Now he's a TV funny man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he was a comedian at the time, but I think he used to be a teacher or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he used to be a teacher and then got into comedy. So I guess that was.
I think so. I think he mentioned that on Taskmaster.
Like British actor has an episode of Holby or Casualty on their IMDb.
Well, yeah, I mean that's it. A lot of times when there's like long-running shows, be they soap opera or just long-running shows in general, that's it. Everyone goes through. Everyone grabs a role because there's so many roles there that needs filling that eventually, if you're an actor, you get on there. You know, it's a whole thing.
I think I've met Greg Davis and I worked with him, but it's before I watched Taskmaster. And I think if I met him now,
it would be different.
I'd probably, whereas before I sort of knew who he was through the comedy circuits, but I was just like, oh, what a large man. What a lot of man I'm looking at right now.
Many men, you know, yeah.
1.5 men's high.
1.5, yeah, basically. Like you'd seen him on like In-Betweeners or whatever, and then like, oh, hello, you know, and then
Oh yeah, I guess that's where I'd know him from. I was just like, oh, it's the teacher guy.
That's where I saw him first.
But then there's like other people who I worked with, who other people were more excited that I'd worked with them than I was, because I was just like, I don't really. Like Anthony Head, I think people who watch Buffy were like, "Oh my god, you remember that?
You work with Giles? Oh my god, you work with Giles? Yeah, yeah."
It was very nice, but I didn't know who he was.
You didn't really know who he was or whatever. So yeah, have you still never seen?
For me, he was the voice of a character in my favorite radio show. So I sort of like was like, "Oh, that's him," but I didn't really have any connection beyond that.
I keep thinking that would be cool, like to like you to this day, like you meet someone and then you know them and like them from something so small and different than other people. Like I keep thinking, like one of these days, like I'll run into like, you know, Yuri Lowenthal or whatever, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man from the Spider-Man games. Oh, he's done this, he's done that, he was in this," and I'm like, "Prince of Persia, yeah, the Prince of Persia guy." It was like, what the fuck, you know, that sort of thing.
The weirdest one I had was, I became quite a big fan of Aisling B, who's like an Irish comedian.
Yeah, she was also on Taskmaster. Yeah.
I was like, I watched a TV show with her in, and then I was like, oh, I wonder what else she's done. And I was scrolling down her IMDb, and I'd worked with her before. And I was like, did I? I was like, I recognize that. I did that. And then if you actually look at the IMDb photos, there's a photo with me in. I was like, there I am. So I've met her. I just didn't know who she was at the time. But in retrospect, it's quite cool. There's a picture of me on her IMDb wearing a t-shirt that is 2 unicorns doing it under a rainbow.
Lovely. Lovely.
Yay. I'm classy.
Yeah. I don't know, like this celebrity encounters, right? You know, it's they're just people, you know, they're just people like anyone else. Yeah.
Wiz's dad met Terry Pratchett. Alex's mum met Terry Pratchett.
That's cool.
He said she was a witch.
Well.
But in a nice way. Well, like, he thought she was cool and she seemed like it should be a witch.
Which is like, it's a good thing now, calling someone a witch. As opposed to back in the day, that was really bad at certain points. Calling them sort of thing.
Especially if you get burned for being one.
Yeah, that part not so great. That part not so great at all. That's pretty bad, actually. But, you know, like, I always wonder, like, if I was a celebrity, which I don't consider myself in any way, you know, But if I was a celebrity,
when I met you.
Well, I tried to hold back my inner like glee, just like, but I kept it cool, so you never noticed how I reacted. But I look at it like, like how would I want to be met, and would I want to be? Now the thing is, obviously, not every person is the same. Like some people are celebrity kind of maybe really enjoys that part of it. They enjoy the fame and the attention. That's part of why they are a celebrity. Like that's for some people, like the fame is a byproduct, or like a side effect, or just like a sacrifice they have to give in order to do their job, and because they do it well or whatever. But some people want to be famous and they like to see it. So it's different for each person. But I think if I was a celebrity and someone recognized me or knew me, I don't think I would really enjoy like everyone coming up and talking to me as such, but like just, a wave or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, hi. But then sometimes like I'm outside going to the store or whatever, and I'm feeling like shit and I look like shit, and it's like, God, I hope no one knows who I am here. That would be really bad. Like I just,
Yeah, I guess it does depend. Like, it's like at the occasions that you see people say, like, oh, I'm gonna be in Bristol, so I'm gonna go to Queen Square and see if and then people will be like, no, don't do that. Whereas I'm just like, if someone says hi to me, it's perfectly fine.
I think it could depend a lot,
outside,
right? Yeah.
Or stand directly outside the door. But I think it's quite, because you get people who are really like, why would you want to see it? It's just a building. But I'm like, I think that's pretty cool. Like if I'm not a fan of Yogg's Castle. I don't care, but for someone else, I'm joking. But if I knew like when I went to see, I saw BBC recordings, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's where they filmed this. Oh my God. And I used to work down in the bottle yard in Bristol, and we would like sneak onto other sets all the time. There was a show, I can't remember what it was called, but we it was like a medieval comedy, I think. And we snuck onto the set, and we would just go around sitting in all the thrones and stuff.
Brilliant. King of the castle. King of the castle. Yeah, I have a chair. Yeah.
As long as we knew they weren't filming that day, we'd just be like,
yeah.
There was
Swixy asked me if people recognize me in my area. I don't think so. But it is a possibility. Like I do know like that there are people I've heard from who live here in this town at least, but I have no idea if anyone's ever seen me out or about or whatever. I imagine it's different for you because you live in Bristol, and Bristol that's the Yogscast home base,
Yeah.
So that's like a thing. Particularly, people even know, oh yeah, Queen Square, like that's open. People know where the Yogscast office is. Like it's advertised on the website. People talk about it all the time. So yeah.
Because I'm like not in TTT and stuff. Literally every single time I've walked past Yogs fans outside the office, they've never recognized me.
Normies.
There'll be people there being like, oh my God, yeah, that's Yogs. Oh yeah, I wonder if Lewis is in there. And then I just stroll by, and they just carry on. Don't bat an eyelid. No one knows.
Yeah. The normie fans, they don't know the true cool people. They're just like, I want to see the big ones, the one I saw in my GTAs, like that sort of thing.
There was even a time that there was like quite a die-hard fan outside, and people were like, okay, just be careful. Like if you want someone to walk with you, just in case, let us know. And even them, I walked straight by. I recognized them. They didn't recognize me. I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Well,
I should have asked for his photo.
Well, maybe not. In retrospect, yeah. No, it's funny how the whole thing about like recognizing someone and like deciding what to do. It's like, I remember once a group of us. This was very early in, I guess, my Yogscast career, you can call it or whatever. Like one of the first times, I think the first time I went to meet everyone. For Jingle Jam around December time, and a bunch of us went to eat someplace, and there was a big group, and then a bunch of fans met everyone, and they're like, oh, can we get a picture? Can we get a picture? And I kind of just like moved a little bit to the side, just like, I don't think they know who I am. I'm just gonna chill because I didn't really feel like being in a random picture at the time. So yeah, I was just like in the back, and I imagine most of the fans like this, them, and a bunch of. I'll say that's probably fair at that point. At that point, I was never on camera really, so they probably didn't even know who I was at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah. Whereas now, if you meet Rythian, he's like, don't you know who I am?
Yeah, I scream at people like, I'm sorry, what? I need to be in the center of the picture. Aquilian asks, like, don't you qualify as one of the big ones since you're in mainline recordings? I mean, I'm there to fill a space mostly. Like, I'm not like Lewis or Duncan or, Sips or whatever. Like, they're or Simon, obviously. Like, they're the icons that people see. And I'm just sort of there as a group, like as a thing. But yeah. You're the second tallest Yogs, aren't you? I mean, I think Bree has like an inch on me, and Smithy has like an inch on him, I think, in general.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah. Briony's pretty tall too, actually. She's pretty tall too. Long one.
I guess because I think of who the original... Sorry, I've got a cable stuck between my toes.
Oh.
I'm trying to get it out, but I can't do it subtly. There we go.
Yeah, okay,
I think of when I first knew who Yogscast were, who was in it. So I guess for me, you are classic.
I mean, I've been around a long time. Like,
original.
I am one of the originals. Like, at a certain point, there was only like 8 Yogs people, and I was one of them. So, I mean, yeah, like historically, I am. But I've never been, like, huge. Like, when people outside of the Yogs that think of the Yogscast, it's rare that people think of me, And, like, in terms of, like, when it's a big Yogscast thing happening, it's rarely I'm involved. So in that case, I don't consider myself one of the quote-unquote big ones, But, how do you compare? I don't know,
It seems to be random because you still get people in videos being like, I don't recognize anyone in this video.
Yeah.
And it's like, Ravs. I'm just saying, how do you not recognize Ravs? When did you last watch? Do you have a computer?
Yeah, it's like, bro, come on, they've been around for a long time. It's like, all of these new people, and it's like, I don't know, Martin or something. Like, what the hell? He's been around for like almost as long as me. It's ridiculous, Yeah. Dak asks, why does Rythian, one of the original, not simply eat the other Yogs? It's true. Yeah, honestly, I might as well. Cut down the numbers a bit, So yeah.
Natural selection.
Yeah, Sketch This Wave does say basically probably the origin, the truth. It's a factor of distance. Like, they're all in Bristol, and they're all kind of there together doing their stuff. So whenever, like, there's a bunch of them together, that'll be a thing. And I'm all the way, and I'm in a whole other country. So that's kind of the thing.
Yeah. Just move to Bristol. Sorted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just do it. Forehead.
Move to Bristol. I never thought of that. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm an ideas person.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. There's not enough ideas people out there, Most people they just don't know. Man, the temperature these days can't quite decide if it's going to be hot or cold, honestly. Because half the time it's like, it's cold, putting on my hoodie, and then sitting in a hoodie for a while, it's like getting a bit hot. So I turned on the fan now, just in case. But yeah. Just move Yog Towers to your city. Honestly, yes, I think that would be better.
But then I'd have to learn Swedish again, and all I would
and Duolingo's been waiting for you.
Has a knife.
Yeah, the elephant and the tortoise has a knife. Duolingo's been waiting for you patiently for you to come back, and instead you haven't. I forgot like half an hour ago to say thank you to Lukema Penguin for subscribing. So thank you, Penguin. That's very nice. It's been raining on the West Coast for 2 weeks. I'd love to go for some. I find often rain just fixes weather issues, Whenever it's like too hot or too cold, rain kind of just makes it more normal, Yeah. It's like you reach a boiling point or a freezing point. Not literally boiling or freezing, but like it's too hot or it's too cold. And then, damn it, it just rains. And then rains neutralizes the temperature and like how it feels.
Dandy Yogs Towers when? Yeah. You could start.
Yeah.
Just start.
I could start my own
York
York Towers. Yeah.
Your flat as York
This
Towers
is-
too.
Yeah, true. Who lives in York Towers? Well, currently only Ridian. Oh, okay. It's not quite a special. Yeah, Yorkscast North. Nordic Yorkscast or whatever. Yeah, good. Currently, there's only me, though. It's only me. So. That's not as good.
I wonder if they will have a international in Sweden. Or if that
They
was
were
like
gonna.
a one chance and then
They were gonna,
it's
but
done.
then COVID. And then there was a whole
And
thing
then
with them
Sweden
trying
deciding it's not a sport. so
Well,
it's
that
not
was
allowed.
I mean, we have. It's not quite that simple because we literally had a CS:GO tournament in the very same place shortly afterwards. You know?
Sweden just hates Dota, is that what you're saying?
No, it's Valve wasn't doing things right, basically. At that moment, at least, you know. Because later on we had big tournaments and they managed fine. It was them trying to get like exceptions for travel rules and so on with how they did things, and you know it didn't work out as planned. So, you know, they went to Romania ultimately instead because they wanted a crowd, but you know they didn't get a crowd anyway. So, yeah.
I wonder if it'll ever be in the UK. It won't be in the UK, but I wonder if it will. It won't. The answer to that is
But why do you think you won't?
because we're baby. Places
you're
are big,
baby?
and we're baby.
I mean, do you think
We're
Sweden's any bigger?
Insignificant.
We were supposed to have one in
in-
Sweden, though.
Sweden must be bigger than the UK. Surely.
I mean, we have as many people in our city as you have in London. Like, in our country as you have in London.
Wait, what?
Yeah. There's maybe
That
10
can't be
million
true.
people in Sweden. Period.
Really?
Yeah?
Is it just one of the? Is it one of those things like Russia being big but only parts of it are inhabitable, sort of thing?
Yes. Yeah,
Are you
yeah, yeah.
widely spread? What a
Uh,
question.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. We have the whole like long country. Like, it's very long, and obviously most people live in the major cities, etc. But yeah, for the most part, that's it. It's 10 million people. We're more spread out.
Sweden has
there's
more
couple
pro
of
players.
million.
That's true.
What does Sweden have? Sorry.
More pro players. Are there any
Yes.
UK pro players?
No, I don't think so. There's
Oh.
Pyrion and OD Pixel, but they're not players. That's a UK esports
True.
players.
How much sway does Pyrion have? Can he bring them over here? Do you reckon he has that sort of power?
I don't know. All right, top Dota 2 players UK. Is there anyone I recognize? No. I recognize Rhyme, but that's just because he used to cast on OD Pixel streams. And then T Governor, who was, you know, he used to be a player apparently. But even then, his like total earnings is not particularly high, like way higher than me, obviously. But like compared to most everyone else, UK doesn't do top players so much, I guess.
Does Sheepstick count? Does Sheepstick actually do? Alright, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
she
thinking of
streams and
things.
she's a panelist, you know, but I don't think she counts as a
Yeah.
player. Because looking here, like top player rankings for the United Kingdoms, like the top 10, I don't know. I only recognize the name Rhyme, and again, that's from like a one thing. And T Governor is 12, and then, but this is literally just earnings, right? So like, it's how have they earned anything? At which point now, like down at number 50, people have only earned $350, which, you know, it's nice, but it's, you know.
Frankie there at all this year?
No. We had hosts was Shiver and James, and then Shiver's panel was, I think, Lizard.
I don't
Lacoste,
like James. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
It gives me a bad feeling. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't, by reputation, he's kind of those like.
An ass, as
Yes.
Gabe said.
Well, yeah, as Gabe said, yeah, like he's, yeah, kind of little bit of a lad's lad, kind of.
That's it. I get the feeling that he's like, what are they called? What's that like notorious forum on the internet that
4chan?
has like, yeah, he seems like that's his home.
Yeah, maybe, but he's
I'm 100% judging him on gut feeling alone. He's never. I don't know him. He might be lovely.
I'm not entirely judging him on gut feeling. I'm judging him basically on rumors and hearsay, which I don't know if that's much better, but yeah.
I didn't know anything about him when he first appeared on the panel, and just from the get-go, I was just like, no.
Yeah.
That man, no.
Yeah. So, Scythief says that Australia is one of the lowest population density in the world, obviously. Like, it's fucking massive, and people live in what, like 2 places, you know? They have 3 people per square kilometer. Sweden is 23 people per square kilometer, and the UK has 277. So the UK is literally 10 times as dense as
I remember when I was little, someone described Australia to me as a puzzle that someone put the edges together and then got bored. And that's how I've always thought about it ever since. Like, to me, there's just people around the edge, and then the middle is just sort of like,
They're just like, and then we have a city here, and these things. What about the middle? Just put in some flat land. Just bam. Just throw in that stuff there, yeah. Yeah. That could be the thing.
I'd like to go sometime, but I
think
I would be terrified.
That's the thing. Like, whenever you talk about like, oh, the spiders, all Israeli people are like, it's not so bad. All you have to make sure is you check your boots every time, make sure your doors are locked, make sure that you carry this with you. The machete is important, of course. Make sure you have anti-spider spray. Carry a hat that scares away them with the colors. Make sure that your armor is made of Kevlar. They just keep going. Like, it's fine as long as you follow these 20 safety restrictions. No big deal. And I'm like, you've lived like this, and that's how you think it's normal. But trust me, you live in a hellscape where the demons live, and you've made that your home. You know,
it is just like the boss lands, Australia. That's how I think of it.
Yeah,
UK is like the starting zone, and then you build up to Australia.
It's tutorial zone. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have an
end game zone in Australia. Yeah. That's where you go to grind before you do raids, whatever raids are, but yeah.
Do they have seagulls who steal your ice cream? No, they have bin chickens. What are they? Ibis.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and they steal stuff from the trash, and bin chickens.
Bin chickens.
Yeah. Earth's final boss is Australia. Come and spend your money. Just don't try to drive across the whole country because you misread the scale on the map. That's one of the things, right? Like, that always frustrates me so much, and I wonder why it is the way it is, right? So generally 2D maps, like I think the I have a word for it. Like the current,
American.
like Mercator, I think it's the Mercator scale or whatever, is how we have the maps that people know, right? And that's just not to scale at all. Like, you look at it and go like, oh, that area is over 2 episodes. No, it isn't. Like, they just, when they drew the map, decided we don't need to make that according to scale. It's fine. And I'm like, why? Doesn't it? Ultimately, it's because you need to really make it. You need to get a globe because, you know, Earth is round. Sorry, flat Earthers out there. It's true.
No, no, you're not one of those, are you?
Are you a round Earther? Ugh.
We've been friends for all these years, and I never knew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Aquilian mentions one of the stories I talked about, the Death World stories, which is this idea of like humans are on a death world, and all the aliens are in much nicer worlds. So when they meet humans, they go like, "Wait, what? There's lightning that sets stuff on fire. The earth quakes. What are you? What? And you can freeze to death? What kind of world do you live in?" You know, people like that. Like, they're like, "What the hell? Like, that's insane." And we're like, "Yeah, this is what we're used to." And then Aquilian's like, if that's the case, then Australia is the death world on this death world. Which, yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess. Like, that's where they also go like to extreme mode over there. Yeah. But So to see the map, like, you need a proper globe, right? Like, that's how you can get it accurately in size. But obviously you don't always have globes around you to check on things, so it's hard to see it on a map. But even then, I feel like you could just make it big enough that you could have the right scale. Like if you know this area is, you know, X kilometers from side to side, make that to scale. So I don't understand why like the Mercator map is that way. There is a website somewhere called a World Map to Scale or whatever, where you can click on it and then you can then like drag like a country and put it over another country to see the actual comparison, you know. Because like, Australia, like you can fit all of Texas in there, and you can Africa is huge and that sort of thing, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I see. Ooh.
Yeah. Did you found it? I'm googling and couldn't really find it.
Found a place. It's called the True Size of.
Yeah, that's it is. Yeah. So yeah, you drag like a country, and you're like, oh, Sweden or whatever. You true size of Sweden. And I think Sweden is accurately represented usually. But then you can like drag it over. If you like drag it over to Africa, it becomes smaller. And if you drag it to Canada, it becomes huge. You know, that sort of thing. And in Australia, it's small again. Because like, if you look on a map and it's like, oh, Sweden's pretty big, right? And you like compare it like centimeters. Oh, that's about as big as Australia. And you put it in Australia, and it's like maybe the halfway point. Well, not quite, but you know, that sort of thing. And just dragging it around, you can still see where the biggest differences is. The main thing is obviously at the north, because that's how a globe works. Like, if you try to go around at the very top, it's a lot play. Like, if you go at the very top of the, you know, the northern equator, North Pole, basically. You can walk around the world in like 20 steps, in theory, you know, because that's how it works. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true size of Texas. Bam. And you click Texas, and you're like, okay, how big is Texas? And then you drag it around, and you can see that all of Texas is basically. You can combine most of Sweden and Finland.
In Texas.
It reminds me of in Thor Ragnarok. So like, behold my stuff. I particularly like these things, and you have 2 guns. I found them in the realm of Midgard, in a land known as Texas. It's like, yeah, it's good times. It's good times. Should we play a game?
You're a lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, should we play a game maybe? Yeah. Yeah, it's called the TrueSize.com. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We should play a game. I'm gonna go to make sure that people can see the game. That's probably pretty important.
You let your chat see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very kind often.
Boil them. Ambassador.
Ambassador, yeah. I make sure that they get to see what game we're playing. So, last time we played, the case was made before us. Can I get a TLDR from last week? No, it's too much. Well, okay, you can get a little bit. Basically, Gregson died. Rip in peace. Gregson died.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's not so great. And Van Zieks is considered the prime suspect. And I know, Penguin, a lot happened. And Kazma is going to be the prosecutor against Van Zieks. And we're going to have to defend Van Zieks. Because no one else wanted to defend Van Zieks because he's the Reaper of the Bailey or whatever.
The Reaper.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Was accused
There's also a guy who's missing from the prison. Like, the whole thing started with us trying to hunt down a missing prison warden, and he's missing. But then we found out that he hasn't actually worked there in 10 years. So now that's a mystery as well. 2nd November, 8:56 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. What were you going to say?
I'm going to say, is the game a bit quiet?
Sorry.
Or should I turn it up for you?
No, I turned it down for when we were chatting, so I'll turn it up again. Because otherwise the music can be so overwhelming, you know, like da 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 da, and we're like sitting there talking for a full hour, and people are just being blasted with da da da. So I tend to lower it down. I wish there was like a chiller main menu music, because like as glorious and exciting it is, it's not necessarily great background for us talking about random stuff, you know. So yeah.
Root.
There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. actually. No. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air.
There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose.
Okay, I wonder if that is there is a menacing tension or there is a menacing tension. As in, were we thinking the same thing, or did she hear what I'm saying again? It's the blue text again. The blue text worry. I don't know. I don't know what you meant, but yeah. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant.
A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize.
Inches appeared and says, "Hello, I am a real English lawyer, and I will judge the accuracy of the simulation game." Yeah, it's a very accurate game. All trials happen exactly as they do in real life, particularly the ones that take place around the year 1901 or whatever the year this is. So yeah, with a mix of Japanese and English lawyer. So we'll see.
Yep. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary.
What do you mean?
I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected.
What?
Oh.
We don't get any juries this time. No jurors.
Wasn't that the case with the professor as well? Oh, a trial without a jury. Well, that's just like...
No, we had juries with... I mean, the Japanese cases, we didn't have a jury. Like the first one of this game and the first one of the first game. There was no jury. But in all the other ones, there were jury members. Remember, we always had a thing about we pitting them against each other and stuff.
But 10 years ago, I think they said that the professor one didn't have a jury because they didn't want people to know who
it was closed or something, yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sura. We're going to see Rythian in his true form. Sort of. This is my ancestor, I suppose. Yeah.
I left the professor 10 years ago.
There you go. Yeah. A closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruto? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. What to one man is a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you so full of vim.
And you. I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever.
Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagement with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you.
What an honor. And that would be?
Your eye for good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind. My own.
What are you trying to say?
I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Oh, okay. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose.
Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see.
Odo.
Oh, Yes, Gina?
Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss.
I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that.
Well, if it weren't him, who was it?
I don't know that yet. Because much like in all other cases, somehow we have to figure out the real killer in this trial. It's not enough for us to show that this guy didn't do it. We also have to figure out who did it and prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Because that's how defending works.
I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least, that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, Odo. Get whoever did this. For the boss.
Incha says that is accurate. Guilty till innocent and also replaced with the actual guilty even if you can prove just innocence. It rolls off the tongue. True, true.
Oh, Gina.
Oh no, they're so sad.
I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've got to find who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defence and the defendant. Oh, it's like he's back with us.
He's back with us. It's Gregson again.
Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please.
All right, then. Here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Seeks. Termination.
One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. Yeah, because he was a murderer. That's not. You're not quite allowed to be just as mad, right? Your dad killed his brother. You can't be sad that your dad was then executed after killing multiple people. You're not allowed. I'm sorry. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, of course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events.
Well, I guess if he, as we do, suspect that he didn't actually do the murders, then I guess he has a right to be angry.
True, because that is ultimately
for putting an innocent dad away.
Yes, that is ultimately what we think as well. That Kazuma's dad probably wasn't actually evil because it came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, a nice person comes over there and then like, aha, I have killed multiple people. And we're like, hold on, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, and maybe that's ultimately Kazuma's goal for coming here, to find out the truth of it, because he never believed that his dad did it, possibly. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Second November, 9:20 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. I ended that sentence with the voice up.
Empty.
Yeah. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant. I'm trying to do like a thing where I relax my voice, but it becomes not great. We're here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Barak Van Seeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. There he is.
No, but he's not blowing in the wind. He's not himself.
I know. He doesn't have the bandana on, so there's no blowing, so it's not real him.
The prosecution is more than ready. I still don't know what voice to do for him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have an accent.
No,
He's not
true.
Cockney, so I don't know who he is.
Yeah, if I can't do Cockney, I can't do anything. He was king in 1901. I'm not sure it was exactly 1901. We know it's around the turn of the century, but I don't know if we have the exact same year. But well, yeah, but like I don't know exactly what year it is. I think the game has deliberately shied away from saying the exact year, just so you can avoid stuff like that. But yeah.
I think
was there a queen at any point around that point? Because then maybe that's more like what it is. If they gave a shit about that at all.
It changed in either 01 or 02, I think, but I can't remember. Was Victoria? Did Victoria die?
Victoria 1900, according to yeah.
19. Well, she's. Was she queen though? Or did she die then?
I assume.
I forgot
queen.
which way round it was. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, she.
I mean, surely she was queen until she died, I assume.
She died in 1901. Ah, there you go. So my knowledge isn't super great.
I mean, mine is non-existent, so, that's fine. But yeah, then, I guess the assumption is it's, maybe 1898, 1899, 1900-ish, something. When was the fair? The fair? Or maybe that's not real. Because I guess things happen in the fair, the thing. Not the World's Fair, but like the thing. Anyway.
Oh, the science one.
Well, we had a whole science fair that people came from all over the world to see, and then there was like balloons flying. And that was the whole case, but yeah. But anyway, it's around that time. I guess the important thing is it's around that time.
Yeah. Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... I've never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The Crystal Palace exhibition was 1850? Well, it was the Crystal Palace. That's what it was called, right? Or maybe it was the second Crystal Palace exhibition?
Cal says it has a lot of conflicting things just so people can't place exactly.
I figure that's probably exactly it, yeah. It's meant to be in that time, and they don't want to nail down the year exactly because yeah. Which makes sense. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system.
Today we must
Yeah, well, yeah. Like they said queen before, which is why Inche was like, wait, there was a king, Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, so not even any peanut gallery, any audience. By Her Majesty's direct orders.
Gallery.
Yeah, peanut gallery, yeah. But there is peanut. Look behind. We have peanut gallery. I mean, audience.
The peanut gallery.
Have you never heard of the peanut gallery?
No.
Basically, it's the audience. Basically, the people who are there and throw in peanuts and yell like, "Oh, be quiet, woo!"
Oh.
So they throw peanuts. Therefore, they're the peanut gallery.
I have not heard that before.
Yeah.
Very dangerous if there's allergies around.
This is true. Yeah. Twitch chat is the peanut gallery, basically. Yeah. the people who actually talk in chat are the peanut gallery. How will that work, my lord? But also, he just said we have no audience, but there are audience here.
Like, maybe they're just cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. The burden of all appreciation and education falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' bench shall remain vacant today.
No members of the public are present. Might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery?
Aha! Susato knows.
It's her dad.
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Very smart by the game developers. Like, do we need to remake all the backgrounds? No, just say they work for the law. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah.
I wonder if Judgy McJudgerson is here then.
Oh, the
name?
Japanese judge.
The Japanese judge, yeah.
Members of the judiciary.
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens. Oh my god, they're aliens? Little green men, mind control of Great Britain.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Oh, that makes sense. Came here to prove him daddy innocent.
Yeah. But that's not what this case is about, you know. I think that is ultimately why he came here. He wanted to learn from Britain and, you know, bring that knowledge back to Japan to change their legal system. But also, this is where his father was executed,
like his secret.
You know? Yeah. He had like a secret reason, yeah.
Mission. Side
Very
quest.
well. Let us commence proceedings. Do we no longer have a katana? I guess we gave it back. Listen, that's cool. I want
No,
a
he's got
katana
both
too.
of them.
Yeah. It's really unfair, honestly. We could have kept one. Because remember we used to rest our hand on the sword? What do we do now? What do we do now? Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. Look at this guy double swording it up. Who are you, dual wielding bastard? They don't even match. Come on.
The incident took place on the 1st of November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
So today, we are doing it before it happened, but next time we play, it will be in the past.
Oh, bum, bum, bum. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson. A name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
Professor Case?
How sure are you about the time of the incident?
Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot and have all reported the same time.
Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. Not least for his infinite supply on fish and chips. Yes. That is his part of the other thing that made him famous, yeah.
I was trying not to think about chips because earlier Chewy said the words chippy tea. I might get a chippy tea, and then that just spreads like wild chips because now I just want a chippy tea. I reckon
it spreads like wild chips. Yeah. No wildfire, wild chips. Yeah, I mean,
Alex says we're getting a chippy tea.
There you go. Hooray.
I have here a plan of the room. Chippy tea. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. The powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words... Sorry. That reminded me of, what's the song? In other words, please be true. And it just, it just made me think of that. I was like, don't do it. Don't launch into song.
But then you did anyway.
In other words, have you ever worried that, you know the way that happens in musicals where suddenly everyone is singing and they know all the dance moves and all the words and everything? Are you ever worried that will happen to you in real life and you'll be the only one that doesn't know?
Nope. I've never worried about that ever. Because I know the difference between musicals. Well, no, I still won't actually. No.
It happened to me once, though.
What? No, I didn't.
Because this is something I've worried about before. But then where I went to college, there were only toilets on the ground floor, and the photography floor was above the drama unit. So I went downstairs to use the toilet, and then 3 people came in and used the other cubicles. And then one of them started singing, and I forgot that they were drama students. One of them starts singing, the other 2 join in. They all leave the cubicles at the same time, and I was just sat on the loo, just like, oh my gosh, it's happening, and I don't know the words, and I don't know. Am I meant to come in a few lines or something?
They're waiting for me. I'm doing the solo bit. Oh no!
Yeah. I was like, I didn't get the memo.
Yeah. That's like stepping into like a group of friends and they all start quoting stuff like with their own little inside joke, and you're just sitting there going, yeah, and it's like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know.
I see. Yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. The author's report has been entered into the court record. Instant resulting from bullet at close range.
The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord, not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord. As you wish. Wesley!
In the beginning of the movie, she's like, boy, clean my horse. I want to be able to see my face in it. And she's like, as you wish. Like, come on, lady. That's just, ugh. Be
Bumble,
better.
Hand me that picture.
As you
but
wish.
When he said, as you wish, he was actually saying, I love you.
Oh,
I love that film so much.
I mean, it is a fantastic film. It is. You know. But it gets very comedic, you know, like, because the grandpa, when telling the story, I think he tries to put in more comedic stuff in it, you know. Apparently, that's one of those things where the movie's better than the book. Apparently,
I would say it's the most accurate, like rendition. That's not the word I want to use, but like adaptation of a film from the book. Like when you read the book, it's just like reading the film. It's like they are so well done. I've never really had that with a...
Really?
Usually if I read the book and then see the film or the other way around, you're just like, it's sort of got it. But that one is just like 100% captures it.
It's the same level of humor and jokes and like wink and a nudge and you know, that sort of thing.
It's really, really well done. Like they did such a good job with the film.
Okay. That's cool. Because I read that like the book isn't quite as charming and stuff in general, and how they made the movie was like, well, it's the grandpa reading the book, right? And so he's sort of taking slight liberties and changing it around a little bit. But maybe that's wrong. I don't know. But yeah.
It might just be that I'm such a big fan of the movie that I loved the book whilst I read it because I was just thinking of the film. I remember them being quite... They're good. I'll read the book again. See how I feel this time.
So one of the things I've been completely fiending recently, which anyone who's seen my Twitter or is on our Discord knows, I've been watching a ton of The Expanse, the TV show.
Yes.
And that is also another TV show based on a series of books. And I am now watching the final season, and there's 6 seasons, but there are 9 books. So the books go longer than the show. But I have read the first book, or rather listened to it in audiobook form, and I have watched the first season, season and a half, which is basically the same time period and events that happen in the book. And I thought the show was better, which is something I rarely think. But I thought the show had better things happen, better ways how things happened than the book did in general. I have heard that I liked the book. It was a good book. But yeah, I thought the show was improving. I have heard that the books get steadily better and better and better, and then they get really, really good. So I'm gonna read all of them. But yeah, I haven't read any more than the first book yet. I've decided to finish the show before I start reading more. That's the plan.
I wish I could get into the show. I tried. I watched like a couple episodes, but just I did not like it. The style of it, the grade was just so
sharp. Yeah.
But then Alex says that. I mean, Alex carried on watching it, and he really liked it too. So maybe I should give it a go.
I mean, I have found it incredibly good. Like I rarely. Like, even recent shows have been like, oh, that's pretty good. I've enjoyed watching that. But, like, this has grabbed me like no show in ages. I really, really enjoy it. So, like, I find it... Like, I watch it and I feel like I have to talk to someone about it, about how good it was, you know? I have to say... Which is why I keep going on Twitter saying, oh, my God, it's so good. It's like I have to get it out. So, like, I'm talking about, like, how much I like the show. So, yeah, it's... highest recommendations from me. I can see why people maybe not be into it. I will admit that the grading wasn't something I was thinking about really so much.
This made it feel like super low budget. Like, it felt like a student film, the way that they graded it, the way they shot it as well. I don't know what they shot it on, but something cheap and digital, I'm guessing.
I mean...
But then they could have shot it quite well budgeted and then just graded it, because sometimes people do that. They
I mean, I assume it's not a cheap show, so you know.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel cheap when I watch it, but I don't know like photography or whatever, so I don't see the grading like color. I thought grading is just color grading to me, right? Like that's how you design the like sharpness and like filters and stuff, right? That's what grading is, or am I misunderstanding what you mean by grading? Yeah. And like to me, that's just like an effect you do when it's all done, right? Or well, at least in the process of producing it. I mean, I don't know how expensive it was, but I never felt that it was low budget, at least.
Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah, who knows? Anyway, I thought it was.
I'll give it another go. I'll give it.
I mean, you might not like it, which is fair.
Wudgy.
But maybe if you overlook the grading, maybe you'll find other stuff in it that you like. I don't know if like sci-fi is a thing you're into in general, but yeah, thought it was good. Anyway, is this a Fresno Street room, Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair.
So what on earth was Gregson even doing there?
Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver.
You know what would have been great is if we could have had a chat with Van Siex. Okay, so why were you there? Why were you talking, etc., etc. But I think you just said like, I barely remember, and it's like, what? Like, how do you? This happens so often. We never get to know the entire story, so we have to figure out not only who killed it, but also what our innocent defendant was doing every time. I swear.
The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So, the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
A name, please, counsel.
Naturally. The accused himself.
Lord Van Siex?
As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Boop.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand.
Is there a mod that every time they hit the hammer it makes a squeaky noise?
Yeah.
So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baruch Van Siex, Old Bailey prosecutor and murderer.
I presume
Racist
Lord Van Siex.
Extraordinaire.
Racist extraordinaire. I assume, Lord Van Siex, that you heard Lord Prosecutor Sisoka's opening process. I assume that's what that word is pronounced like.
I don't actually know what
in
that
Swedish,
means.
presses is precisely, or like precise. is what it is. But assuming this one is something else. I don't think it's opening precise. I think it's probably its opening precis, given by how English works. Who knows?
Reese's. I don't know. I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Some things.
Some things are explained away.
Why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth.
I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. Since you became known as the Reaper, part of me has been dreading it. Squeaker! Your formal destiny, then, witness?
The facts of the incident.
Yes. Give me a second.
Them facts.
Them
What
facts,
happened
though.
and how I done it.
Them facts. How I didn't do it, I swear.
I did not do the murder. Thank you.
Yes. I promise I'm innocente. Innocente! Innocente for sure.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. What? That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi.
It would appear to be singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. Or laughable.
It's got into Kazuma. He's not behaving like himself at all. Very well done. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Cross-examination. The facts of the incident.
Hold it!
Hold it! You were investigating the inspector. What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably so, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed.
Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene?
No, I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks?
That was just a bit of fun, innit? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath.
Why did I ever think I could defend this man?
Hold it!
Hold it.
Have you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
But at 5 p.m., the sun would have only just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a small desk in the room just here.
Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you say it was very dark in here.
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another presence.
Aha, then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room?
No, that's out of the question.
Oh.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
This is going from bad to worse.
And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part.
Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
No, it wasn't a proper slam. But then where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume?
That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot.
Is peddler different than a peddler, as in P-E-D-D-L-E-R?
I assumed it was the same, but just
Google.
a squished version of it. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's just an alternative
It's like
spelling
a
of
peddler
peddler.
of wares.
It's an alternative spelling. All right.
And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. Policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more.
I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson.
Most curious circumstances indeed.
How the inspector was killed or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Objection, you have some idea. Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused Baruch Van Zieks is lying on multiple fronts.
New music? I think this is new music. This is probably like Evil Kazamath's song.
Oh no.
What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say?
In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct? No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum.
How does that prove anything?
If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
Typo game. It says it. Oh my god.
If you examine.
Yeah. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
This is definitely the Kazuma theme, Evil Kazuma theme, because the version of his old theme was playing like do 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 do. So it's like a remix using his leitmotif as evil version. Well, not evil, but prosecutor version. Maybe evil, we don't know. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together.
Objection! Why?
I don't think because they're so low down. They've not been burnt at the same... They've been done one after the other, surely. Surely.
I think he's trying to say that, like, well, they burned and two of them have burned a lot, but, like, it takes a lot longer than, like, a second for the others to burn.
Oh, that proves that... Wait, no. I had it for a second and then it went.
Finish the thought?
Well, I was going to say that proves he must have been shot a long time ago, because if that shot that one out and then the other two burnt down, but then wouldn't they have been completely gone?
Well, maybe Gregson or someone extinguished them. So we have no idea when the shot ruined the third candle, you know? That could have been a while ago. That's the thing is, I think Kazuma is jumping to conclusions here. Like, and also just saying we could expect someone to lit all 3 candles. No, they could have just lit 2. Maybe they felt like lighting 2. We don't know. Like, that's an assumption to make.
This is going to be proof that he was shot a long time before he entered the room. That's what I reckon. Which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others.
That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah!
That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other 2 candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. Yeah. And now to the next lie.
There's more?
The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago.
10 years ago. This is starting to sound familiar.
And there is a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed. What is this common thread, Counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Baruch van Zieks.
All of them?
And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good Lord!
Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today.
So, I feel like this apartment is where the Reaper was. Like, this is where the Reaper came from.
Gregson was the Reaper.
Either Gregson was the Reaper or that other guy was the Reaper. The one who's gone missing for 10 years. Suspiciously, exactly 10 year. Or the two of them work with a third person who is in fact the Reaper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. Because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
Ah!
Oh no! In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
The Reaper's hideout?
And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been in his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No. The truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand.
What?
Oh no, we did see a photo of that woman's husband. Yeah, no, he was the Reaper. Yeah. Gregson was inspecting him. He went to inspect Gregson. Bish Bash Bosh found him dead. That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Six is the Reaper. But I think that Gregson may have maybe been working with the Reaper or something. Or investigating the Reaper or something. Because remember, Gregson found out the Reaper Professor ages ago. Maybe Gregson maybe Gregson made a mistake or was forced into it or whatever. Because we're also assuming that eventually we'll also find out that Kazuma's dad wasn't evil, you know, and he was framed or whatever.
Big, stinky, strong heart person. That is the big stinker.
Yes. Ultimately, that is our theory. Like, Professor Innocent, strong heart, mega evil, pulling the strings, you know?
Yeah.
Ora! 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 As members of the judiciary, you should know better than to be loud and talk amongst yourselves. Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts.
All I have done is state the truth as I know it.
Kasim has done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build this prosecution case. And it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed to the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Kirsty says Van Zieks is very innocent and handsome.
God damn it.
I agree. Thank you, my lord.
The notice board has been entered into the court record.
And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. There are some details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there?
This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look.
Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here.
Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out.
Do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene too.
Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League then?
Briony, can we see the back? Oh, blub. Oh, what's this? Naruhodo, look.
Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint.
Someone's got jam all over it. And the colour. It's ketchup from Gregson's chips.
Oh my god, we found it's him.
That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing.
Alright.
So, because my Van Zieks voice and my Casimir voice are so similar, I've tried to make her voice higher, but then if Iris comes in,
Oh god.
it's going to be up here.
Oh no. Oh no. Maybe you have to figure out something else to do with one of their voices rather than, just maybe put on some vocal fry or an accent.
Uncle Fry.
Uncle Fry.
Casimir be a cowboy. And now the prosecution would like to call a new witness to the stand.
That is one of your voices, yeah. The cowboy voice.
In the gas. He was breathing in the gas.
Oh boy.
Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember.
Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Every time that happens now, yeah? Very well, leave the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord. Why don't we get Kirsty in to do Van Zieks' voice?
We could, yeah.
So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
I feel like she won't be impartial enough. She'll scatter in lines that aren't written on the screen. So
She says, I couldn't possibly, I'm not handsome enough. This is terrifying.
That is a giant lip. What the hell?
I don't like this. It's like he's been stung by a bee.
Yeah. We got Little Red Riding Hood, Lip Man, and the end is an ear guy. Okay. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just free and easy. Sell what we like, live where we want to live.
Say what we want to say. Adam's
I
family.
gave them all a vacant stare as they walked down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them.
You sounded so unlike yourself then. I genuinely thought that was a voice line in the game.
Oh, wow.
I was just like, why is this one character voiced?
They voiced one character for some reason, yeah.
He's very integral to the plot.
Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street?
Hey, everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits. Titbits. That is originally what it's called, but I think people call it tidbits now. And tidbits.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you sell a bit of a tit, that seems different, you know? They have websites for that on the internet, you know? To passers-by, you know? Jaunty little tidbits. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your gin, it is. 6 pence is the price, not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested.
Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is.
What? No. Pay the man council? What? All right. 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on.
Strangled
Just
or
between
something.
us, a young couple on Slight Street have just had twins.
Oh.
Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip, innit? It wants to spread. That bizarre you in your mouth, of course. I got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. True.
That's what I thought.
Instead of being like trying to be hung or something.
Yeah.
It's because he's a loose lip. Maybe. Loose lips.
Ah.
Gossip, yeah.
What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Oh, are these the... Oh, of course, these are the 3 people outside the thingamabob. Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? Innit?
It's similar to Gina, but not quite. I like it, yeah. What do you mean the 3? They're the street vendors, yeah. Outside Preston Street.
Yeah, the peddler.
Peddler, yeah. The
And
peddler.
the newsmonger.
Yeah. I guess Gossip is the newsmonger. Ooh.
Firecrackers.
She's the firecracker. No, that's the matchstick girl I'm thinking of. No, that's different. Yeah.
I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids.
Oh, wow.
6 pence a pop. What do you say?
You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell?
Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Want a part of 6 pence for a pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one?
Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the old courtroom.
No, man. I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman, council. All right. I'll buy one.
Lovely stuff. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special, only 600 pence.
600?
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? He's an arsonist.
Yeah. That was probably the gunshot then. Someone bought fireworks from her. One of the big ones. And that was the noise.
That makes sense.
And they There'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. Yeah, see? Yeah.
And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell?
I think of me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street, watching the world go on about me. They call me the observator.
Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it.
So, you don't actually sell anything.
A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it.
Actual help.
Pity.
No more purchases today, please.
We have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime.
Well, I'll be back, I thought, just between us.
Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
Her name is Venus de Milo. My God. Venus de Milo
Yummy
is like
Venus
a
de
famous.
Milo.
This is like a famous thing. I'm Google. I will Google it to get the exact details. Venus de Milo.
It's the no-armed woman, isn't it?
Yeah,
the one that
yeah.
they made the sweet of in The Simpsons and it stuck to the babysitter's bum.
Yeah.
See? I know culture.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, yeah. Straight from Simpsons and the bum of the babysitter. That's yeah. Created during a Hellenistic period between 150 and 125 BC, one of the most famous works of ancient Greek sculpture, and that has been prominently displayed in the Louvre Museum since shortly before it was rediscovered on the Isle of Milos, Greece, hence de Milo. It is believed to depict Aphrodite, aka Venus, in Romans. That's really lazy by the Romans, by the way. It's like, we should have gods. Yeah, we should. Let's just steal theirs. Well, I don't know about that. We should have our own names. Let's just steal them and rename them. You're onto something there. Let's do it. So we get Zeus, Jupiter, and, Ares, Mars, and so on and so on and so on. And then, of course, the
Some joke and I can't remember what it is. But there's there's like a big god of the sea on a boat and there's people shouting one name and then they say something and then they say the other name. But I can't remember which way around it is or what they say.
I don't think I've heard of this joke.
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay.
There's a big sea god and then the men are like Poseidon or something, and then they're like Roman, and then it's like, oh sorry, Neptune.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it.
What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, playing with our eyes, is any of it real?
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. So yeah, Sandwich, or the thinker guy, he obviously shares a look with the cab driver who was super cold, but slightly very short. But that's usually how they do things, right? Like they put in very similar looking people, like in one major role and one minor role, usually like witness and juror and so on, with slight variation. Witness testimony. The witness's account.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went into the building.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Seems to me that quick to talk is a quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building?
Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barak Van Zeeks.
Well, I've seen pictures to that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. Oh, I've made myself a tidy some already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it.
All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Huge Bone.
Huge bone.
Testimony the Curtis just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No.
Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses.
Yes, my lord. In a close court like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. To break down this testimony, somehow. Yeah, we didn't get to present anything for the other one, so...
Yeah.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zeeks?
Well, I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain.
Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other?
No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot.
The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that?
Am I sure? Am I sure? Doesn't seem likely that I'd have forgotten a fella with a bright red hair like that, does it?
Yeah, his hair's really red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even.
That fiery red mop still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is.
Wait a minute, you're saying the man was a redhead?
Were you listening, chum? Oi, he was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well.
But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party.
No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct.
What?
Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene.
Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right.
The red hairpiece.
Ah,
Of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? For the Red-Headed League.
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
Well, it's a photograph, so we probably can't investigate it, but just in case. Like, it's probably just a zoom-in thing.
Like that it's taken this long into the court proceedings to be allowed to see a victim's photograph.
Yeah.
That might have been helpful before.
A little bit, yeah. I wonder why there's a button for magnifying. Oh. Technically, you can remove it. Okay, yeah. If you want to see the thing without the thing in the way. Have you had...
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
A gunshot? Shall we find out?
What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. All right. That was a fairly sizable bang.
Ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. Sounded almost exactly like...
A gunshot. Exactly.
So, in the canon of this trial, halfway through examining a cross-examination of a witness, we just started whispering between ourselves and then set up a firework.
Yeah. True. That's exactly what happened. In the middle, so like, red fireworks, yes, and anyway, about the hairpiece. Yeah.
I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene.
So it just disappeared?
What? You expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you?
We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that.
Her body language is designed to like appeal to like young boys excited to buy fireworks, honestly.
Yeah.
Not to mention like lighting the match with her ass, you know?
Hold it!
By which presumably you mean the gunshots.
I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it?
And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendants here into the building.
That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang it went, just like that.
Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? It's what a French call a fait accompli.
I'd imagine, well, actually, here, what a French call a fait accompli. He probably doesn't know how to pronounce it.
The Reaper's around, people are going to the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it?
I think we get the message.
The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he'd discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clearer motive for the crime.
Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive. Right.
And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct?
Hold it!
So, when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too?
Well, me. I'm a bit hampered, you see. All the signs so that I can't move very well.
You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand.
What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before?
Oh, I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. A sign of who I am.
It could literally be the exact same person. He's just quit his job and is now sign guy. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then?
I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I agree. He's certainly been through a lot.
Turn down King Henry Street, and the Black Widower's Arms is just there.
Oh dear, you've made him hide beneath this sign.
Life is full of surprises.
Hold it!
So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right?
Thought I was. Kicked the door open like a professional, I did, and yelled out, "What's going off here?"
Lord Van Six claimed all he heard was a man scream, though.
And was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Really?
and there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
Ah, I see. Even though Lord Van Seeks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
What?
The next thing I noticed was something standing right beside the body.
The accused, Baroque Van Zeeks.
That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Ooh.
Did you though? Did you though?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am. Just 2 slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something. Have you heard Mr. Gossip's latest statement, I mean?
What I think is we're all nothings really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers.
It's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap short now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich.
When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it?
Oh, you rotten beggar! I told you to keep that a secret! He screamed, he did. He screamed and scrambled off on all 4s. That's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true?
The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my head in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck!
What? A pool of blood?
But listen here, even I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving Reaper that cold, hard stare. And don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand?
Oh, I did, aye. Happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can just keep that between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
Oh, what's happening?
Well, blood on the hand
That
is
must be the
the
one
bloody
on the
handprint we
board
found.
somehow.
Yeah.
But how could he not? Like, how was the first thing he heard the scream and he didn't hear the door? Was there like a partition in the room or something? Like, I don't understand.
Maybe the board was in a
I'm
different
confused.
place, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because he notices he wiped it off on the floor. Maybe the
Yeah.
board was down, and what he thought was the floor was the backside of the board.
Hold it!
You wiped your hand on the floor?
Well, who wants blood in his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. They might have thought I'd done it. No thought.
And you didn't think that might be a problem?
Doesn't really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor. They get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss, that's the message from all of us. Is something wrong, Counsel?
No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor, that's all.
Don't come here with all that. You can't intimidate me. Oh, I know what I did. I wiped it off. On the floor. The blood.
I wonder, can that be what happened?
Mr. Naruhodo?
I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue.
Oh, maybe the board was on the floor or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it was on the floor downward, so when he thought he wiped it off, he wiped it on this one.
Objection!
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Doesn't really matter.
Objection.
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly was the
Objection.
defense asserting?
If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi.
Oh, don't fight.
No.
Beef wins.
He needs to get off his high horse thinking he's so superior and tough. We have won like 8 cases in a row. We are the greatest legal mind combo that ever set foot into the London courts. And for
Whilst
him,
he was on holiday.
you were on holiday all this time. And now, because of your own personal vendetta, you are jumping on Lord Van Zeeks. You little man. I once looked up to you, but now I look down at you. Sort of, yeah. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor.
What are you trying to say?
There was a handprint of blood left very clearly on the scene. On the back of this notice board. See, now he has to stand like this. Now he can't rest his hand on the sword. He has to change his stance. Ah, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. Oh, you did right. That's my right hand. I know it anywhere.
So maybe the bang sound was the sign falling over
Could be.
and becoming the floor.
Yeah, maybe that's the bang of the door opening or something. And then, but I think the gunshot would have been the firecrackers. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. The witness has very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprint on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection.
Handprints.
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there.
Sorry. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim in an upright position.
Okay, here's my question. The door opens towards the victim. So if you step into the room, you won't see the victim. This is hidden behind the door.
Yeah.
So,
And if he came in and went straight to the desk, he wouldn't just like turn around and
yeah. And
be straight
gossip said that he saw someone dead when he walked in the door. How?
Yeah.
Because the door opens that way and is literally not in an angle. That wouldn't work.
Oh. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body.
Oh, I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse. Not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory.
Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by the board moving. Or possibly false testimony? Like, the easiest thing is the board moving, right? Like that's, I don't think it's another handprint. The board moving could be possible. But false testimony,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think they're lying. It doesn't strike me as they're lying. So I don't think they're giving
Yeah.
false testimony. I think they're incorrect. But I don't think they're like, but I think they're like giving the truth as they know it. So it has to be
Yeah.
the board moving.
The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards.
What does that tell us?
It tells us one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor, as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved.
What?
I like his stance.
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who.
I don't know that yet. But the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? I mean, over here, right?
Yeah.
Do I click like exactly on, or because it has to be close to the body?
Take that!
It was right here, my lord. Goodness. No, I'm afraid I don't quite see your logic.
I'm disappointed, Runosuke. In Japan, we're taught to have patience and respect for our elders. So until his lordship sees your logic, you will know your place and not move from that spot.
Ah!
How brilliant of Kazuma-sama. That almost sounded unreasonable at first, but he was just thinking of you.
Unreasonable, try unfathomable. Anyway, I think I have the answer now. I know my place, or rather, I know the board's place. What? Okay.
Oh, hang on. So if the guy is like... Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
If the guy is like here, and then the board had fallen over for him to put his hand down, would the board
Yeah.
have been like here? Because it needs the like length of it to fall down towards the body. Sort of like there-ish. So then that would be blocking... It's like in between there and the desk. It would be blocking him as he comes in and goes to the desk. He wouldn't see him.
So that's why he doesn't see the body, because the notice board is standing in the way from the normal entrance.
Yeah.
I guess we can try. I feel unhappy with just having a big empty space to place it in.
Yeah.
But
Or
yeah,
would it be
standing
like-
here means... I mean, it,
Behind the door, and because they kicked the door in, that's what caused it to fall over.
but that's roughly where I clicked last time, here, you know?
Yeah.
And he touched
Maybe
it,
if you
right?
put
He
it
must have
on the
passed,
line.
he must have gone by the door.
But I
Sure.
guess if he like snuck in, he might have been more careful with opening the door, whereas that guy proper like kicked it in. So maybe if it was like, if you're touching this line, I wonder if that will do it.
Maybe like this? I remember, do we
Maybe
need to touch
slightly-
the
yeah,
line?
like
But the door,
there.
though, like the door must have, it can't have been on the door. I meant to click like here, but maybe I accidentally clicked here, so maybe that was too much. But I mean, this seems all right for me, because if the thing is here, you open it up and that then covers the line of sight to Gregson. Because if you count the door being
Yeah.
open and then this pair, then if you're at the desk, then that covers the line of sight towards Gregson. So like here.
I guess if that doesn't work, then try slightly higher.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that wasn't right.
You're a naughty boy. And then if it's not that, then I've no idea.
So now we're just trying the door, basically. But it has to be near the body, though. Otherwise, he won't have... I don't know. But he opened the door, he said, and then got blood on his hand that he then wiped off the floor.
You think they moved the bod?
I don't know.
But it wasn't here. It wasn't here. But it must have been blocking. So, like, here, maybe?
I say try it, like, there.
That's literally where I did. That's literally what I did last time.
I think yours was a bit further down, wasn't it? I think maybe if you're, like, touching there, it might be.
Okay.
Might
I'll
be
try.
completely right.
Take that!
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, right there. So, the door knocked over the thing? But how did he touch the notice board then if the door was open? And also this, I don't feel like this notice board blocks the point of, like, the line of sight for Gregson anymore.
Yeah, no more than the door would have.
Yeah. Like, if you go in and walk right now and you look back over, you can see Gregson. So.
Yeah.
Immediately adjacent to the door, eh? If the court were to think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when they entered the room, it was dark. He couldn't see the body. Boy, heck! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. Well, it would have been that by the door anyway.
Really? Yeah.
It would have been there for the door anyway, and you can... Yeah, I'm not following this one. Like, if you are now standing at the desk, you can turn over and you can see.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the point where, like, open the door, which knocks over the notice board. Fine.
I think it should be further down.
Yeah, I think it should be much further down. Like, so that the top part of it is almost where the... Yeah, I think that's way too far out. And the light from the candles would have also been blocked, making there... No, again, it wouldn't have. Like, we have a clear angle for where the line of sight and light would be now. It would have been further down, like a bit, not where I clicked the first time, basically. Well, not first time, because then I was clicked over there, but yeah, second time.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of the Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
Yeah, well, that had been because someone then slammed open the door. Like, when Zeke's entered, he didn't slam open the door, so he didn't knock over the thing. But when Gossip ran in, he opened it, bam, bam, and like, that opened, notice board slammed down onto the ground. He turns around because he hears scream, and then by that time, the notice board has fallen down, and he can then see Gregson. But I still maintain that the position is not right for that. Like, I think that it should have been much further down for it to have blocked anything until further down. That I find weird.
I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, and no mistake. 'Cause it was me that kicked the door open.
If you're looking under the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force.
That can't.
The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim body visible.
Good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Ora! Ora! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleague saw it when investigating the room. Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
What? Me, my lord?
You and your fellows were there at the scene before anyone else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking out your glasses at me. I get the message.
The mystery of the moving board. I'm still upset. I should have been further down. That annoys me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a big hole, and the game is usually good at that, so is that just a simple mistake that they just didn't move it further down, or what? Like, what's the... Yeah, I don't know, man. Van Six didn't make it to the desk. He just started walking towards the desk. I mean, maybe, but like, I still feel like even if you're not kicking open the door, you still open the door, right? And I wish you could see my mouse, but even if you're oh, you can see the magnifying glass, I guess. So even if you open the door, like even if you're not kicking it open, so it goes like full 90 degrees, it's still like something like that, right? And I feel like that still means, like, I don't know, the door itself wouldn't, like, it would have been there, which means that at that point you can still see.
Yeah.
Like, he's walking over there and then, like, he looks around and he doesn't see it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's the position where it's hidden from the door when it's open. And then now we've added the notice board on top of that, which seems unnecessary with the door already being a thing. So we needed to extend it by moving the notice board. This is the door, and then here comes the notice board. I don't know.
I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. Oh, it's that Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored.
What?
Oh, I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the one-shots.
Thank you, Churros, for the sub. Enduros, bro.
So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. I don't pay to expect too much. No, it don't pay.
It's man's endless quest for knowledge, destroying the world. That's what I think.
Didn't Van Seeks close the door? Otherwise, why would Gossip have to kick it open? Point.
It.
Actually, yeah. But still, it would depend where he's standing, right? Because assume the door is closed, right? What would block his line of sight would depend on where he's standing. If he's standing on this side of the desk, then he would still at least see the legs and the light of the candle. Like, I find the only way for him to not see the body and the candle, if the notice board is here, is to be standing here, where the notice board is right now. Because then it's basically a straight line, blocked by the notice board, and that. So if he at any point walked like down here to be in the desk or anything further down, then he would see. So yeah, I'm just curious about that one. Do you? Really?
In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Baruch Van Zieks.
Thank you, Parnasso, for donating $5. Appreciate it.
None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
It's my D&D team coming in and throwing money my way. I appreciate it. Very nice of you.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses, despite the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord.
Very well. Then you may proceed, counsel.
The mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just want my hand on it, that's all.
Hold it!
So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on? Admit it? What's to admit? It's there plain and day for all to see. I'll smash and print on my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint, so you right to the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No, imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. There was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point.
Whoops, wrong button.
Yes, so it would seem.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's a priory school just round the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow up their school to kingdom come.
That's why they buy the fireworks from me. You can think of me as an arms dealer. Ah.
So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to buy more from me. Everyone's happy, see?
A business genius.
What a racket.
Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Well, selling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one. Don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your old body in firecrackers and set 'em off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
The whole blubbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah.
Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a pinch of salt.
All right. Well, you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, all right. Just a bit, then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know?
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please. Well, all right. Just a bit, then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had. The truth, please. Well, all right then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us that you did move that board? I think that did slip out, didn't it?
What? You daft bomb-pot! Oh, I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky. The truth now. I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask. Ah! Or, ah! Oh, ah! How the heck am I making these two
How are you
different?
going to separate her from the other one? Yeah.
So it was you, wasn't it? You're the one what took it.
Gina.
Young lady,
May I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The Professor case, no doubt. The boss used it to wind up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swiped him off at once and blimey he was upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then.
It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabez?
I guess so.
Jabez? That night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. Ah! I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Now, please. Just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try and get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. And the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, children, watch your manners. Good Lord! The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely it shattered when the inspector was shocked. It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then.
Supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Alright, let us take a look at this thing. The glass of the face really is badly cracked, look.
What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you?
Yes, I should think so.
He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact.
But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Haranodo. Mr. Haranodo.
Haranodo.
Mr. Naruto. Not an odd job man. Ooh. Oh!
Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here. Can't you see?
That's what he was using the little policeman for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism.
It looks a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes. You need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit into this hole.
It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found.
Okay, well, we have seen her, right? Where does it
Mr.
pop up
Z!
from? Was it his
Mr. Z,
head?
Mr. Harinodo.
Harinodo. That's a new
The
name,
helmet of
Harry
the town
Nodo.
policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun?
Yes.
Ah! What's that?
Appears to be some sort of key.
It is tiny though. It couldn't be a key for a door. Not at that size. Oh yeah, we've done this before, but can you not inspect it now? We can see that, aha, it's the same thing. Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for the Inspector Gregson's watch?
Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose.
I knew it. A perfect fit.
And look. Inspector's watch has started going again.
Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
So in that case, it didn't break when the gunshot happened. It just happened to run out at 5, I guess. Or set to 5 without it being wound up. Maybe
Is that
like,
the
oh,
time that he wound it up every day, and that's just when it maybe only lasted
or
for a
just
day?
like,
He had to
or
do
like,
it every day?
He noticed it. Oh, it hasn't been wound for a while. He then sets it to 5, and he's going to start winding it. But before he gets to do that, he dies or whatever.
Yeah.
she's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply too. Right. Alright, well that was a lot.
But it would appear the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
And as predicted, it has very little bearing on the case.
Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, Counsel. Oh, I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah, I said that before. Okay, we've gone too far now.
Hold it!
Suro the Death donated and said that I love this and you two sound like pro voice actors. I was so into it. I forgot my food on my stove and now I have burnt tacos. Sorry about your tacos. Sorry about your tacos.
Oh. Maybe treat yourself to a chippy tea.
Yes, Chippy Tea. That's what
Chippy
we've decided
tea.
we're all gonna have after the stream, yeah.
Everyone chippy tea.
But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it.
It's a little crispy, but it'll work fine. Well, there you go. As long as it's not completely ruined.
I'll have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So you did go to see what happened.
It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it?
Did you notice the notice board in the room?
If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both members of the sign family. So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo science.
Does that mean you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life.
Stroking his mustache like I stroke my beard. And I'm thinking, in which case, just who was responsible for moving them? We know that now, though. It was Venus.
The woman.
Yeah.
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in a row, that fella. Not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes.
I can't say I'd ever noticed.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor. Or off the Reaper. Not for 1 second.
Sorry?
Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if I look away, do you?
If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board.
Oh, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he'd heaved the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner.
Right. Glad we've cleared that up.
What happened to the face that screams bored?
I feel your pain, Kazuma.
Oh, I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
Whoops, I should have pressed that. How much to go on?
Point it out, Mr. Naruhodo. There's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it.
But it happened the event, but we know who did it now, but we're still going on, apparently. Maybe Kazuma's right and it's not relevant to the case.
Seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. Though I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this.
Yes, I know what you mean.
I've no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track. I can feel it. So follow your instincts.
All right,
Get
then.
a chippy tea.
God damn it. Wrong button.
Hold it!
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. The Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of the gunshot we all heard.
Susato is not a medium, no. That's only Maya. That sort of stuff. We have had none of that in this one.
So
Yeah.
your fate's sealed too.
My fate?
That's right. The defense is fated to lose. And the prosecution to win.
It's very cocky. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of their story.
It may be possible to change all our fates.
Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard. Does it?
Well, again, firecracker, so... But does any of them actually mention the gunshot? This is the thing that changed. Her line. Maybe I did sneak along kind of. Did we present anything on this line?
I don't think so.
Maybe she dropped... No. I don't know what to present for this one, but this is the line that changed, and that usually means that's the one we present something on. I'm not sure where to go from here. Like, okay. So specifically when we want to like present something that contradicts. Okay, so this we have seen. Yes, you wiped your hand on it. We've seen it as why. This is the one that changed because we had the excuse me, which she then changed your. She changed her testimony.
That one?
I guess maybe we didn't know. You certainly know how to lie.
Oh, it was nothing really. Just a little porky.
With not so little implications.
Did you know? Everything in the world apart from the truth is a big fat lie. If you believe that, of course.
That's like saying everything in the world is either a potato or not a potato.
True.
It's true. I'm lost.
So this desecration of the truth is really rather disturbing. I think perhaps we should move on to the next witness,
Well, no. Just a bystander. Who was the Reaper? The detective died when we heard the gunshots.
Could you
Well,
present
we're not
the
sure about that. Maybe we present
firecracker on that?
firecracker or clock here, maybe.
Oh yeah, or the clock. Yeah.
Objection!
I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case.
Oh,
At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch.
A key.
And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it is in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built.
What?
Because if the clock isn't proof that he died at 5, that doesn't mean that the gunshot happened at 5 that killed him. It could mean something else entirely.
Ora! 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 The council! The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot.
It is exactly the hour.
The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. That's obviously when this crime was committed.
No, that doesn't hold.
Why not?
Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago.
The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. That he had missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece in the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day. Oh, hi! Well, how do you explain it then? In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch.
You can't mean...
What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead.
Order! Order! Counsel, that is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? On that subject, there is something rather surprising. The fact that we forgot to look at his autopsy before we went into the trial.
Yeah, we don't even have it, do we?
We do, and it's that clipboard.
There it is.
We got given it, but
Yeah,
forgot
time
to...
of death is blank. Time of death is blank.
Susato's got our back, it's fine.
Are you sure we haven't looked at this? Maybe we haven't, but yeah. But yeah, time of death is literally blank.
There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted.
Ah, that's right.
Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty grey puddle of blood.
Yes, so the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh.
He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection!
But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after he...
Here's my learned friend. Oh, he's picked that up from
Kazuma.
Van Zeeks.
Yeah.
Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner?
Well, no, but if you are involved with hospitals and murder and autopsies and the like getting blood isn't impossible. You can absolutely buy blood. It's not street corner necessarily, but it's not impossible. Go to butchers, for example. That's one thing.
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example.
Certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all. Could be ketchup from his ketchup
Could be
pocket.
ketchup from his fries. Yeah.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question.
Actually, is it though?
What? What?
Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all.
Please, what are you trying to say?
Crack, 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 crack. Ocelot, no, we heard. And it was a loud bang that came from that there room. Now you listen to me.
Okay, he still has his riding whip, I see.
Our storyteller's ears are his livelihood.
I don't doubt your ears, sir. But all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Eh? Explain yourself then, counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with a hairpiece.
Oh, wig.
Take that!
Something like this. The culprit could have set up one of those to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious, the very fireworks that are sold by the witness?
Now, hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? Oh, pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See?
Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this.
Yeah.
Nice. The court can now attest. It sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You should have heard it twice now. Once when we tested it, and now.
You're trying to suggest that somebody set off one of those fireworks at the scene?
I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
Even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barak Van Zeeks. One whiff of a match and my firecracker go pop. Crackers go pop. See? It's why people like them.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb.
Good heavens. A bomb? A bomb! Oh my god, JC, a bomb! A bomb.
That is a meme that you probably don't know.
No.
Yeah. Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like.
Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
No. Wait, it's the whenever you like, the part that's important.
A timed device.
Yes, exactly, a timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest that in any way that a timed device was employed to create a gunshot wound?
The only thing I can think would be the candles, because the candle would burn down to a certain thing, but that maybe it was actually like blown off by. But then how long would that candle have had to be to get to that?
I mean, you can roughly figure out candles, right? You know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's eliminate stuff like it's not going to be the armband nor the red-headed league stuff. Probably not picture of Mrs. Vigil or the letter of introduction. Nor this. This all seems to belong to a different case, basically. Same for this one, right? Did we check this, by the way? No, it's just one of those. Okay. And we checked this one as well. Let's just like, oh, it's a thing. That's nothing. Candela, possibly the candelabra. Revolver, again, we figured out that we haven't actually investigated this. So this is the type of revolver, that's standard issue from Mr. Judiciary then.
Yes, and when I asked about whether records are kept about who they're issued to, I was told that for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number.
Oh. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun.
Tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that.
10 years ago, maybe.
10 years ago.
Okay, that's all the information on that one. I don't think that's going to help us right now. Probably won't be this thing, because they've been used. This is just a photograph. Autopsy report. Floor plan. No. Notice board. Probably not. We checked that one before.
Oh, unless could it be do with having a longer fuse on it or something? But I guess that would have to. There'd probably be scorch marks on the floor if that was it, wouldn't there? And they'd notice the flame.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the watch again, but I don't think so. Or it's the candelabrum.
Take that!
Music's continuing. That's maybe, but it showed up though. See, it used to be that when the music stops, that means you were right. But then, that's not always the case. But usually, when it's a specific line about a specific item, and you see the thing, that means we're probably right. As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, my lord.
Not possible. Why?
Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. There are? Goodness, yes. But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at a very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun.
Ah!
Which means that the scorching on the candles can't possibly be the result of a gunshot.
You're suggesting it came from the fireworks.
How can that be, eh? It was gossip. The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and the firecrackers were joined together. That's why they didn't use a time bomb necessarily with electronics, but they used the candle to set off the fireworks at a specific time. Because you can figure out how long it takes for a candle to burn down, right? So you then attach the fireworks to part of the candle and then place the fuse at the level where it is about 5 p.m. And then you just light the candles on fire and leave. And then gradually after time, the flame will go low enough that it lights the fuse and then bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
An impromptu time bomb. Exactly. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at the point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of firecrackers, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot. And this implies that this victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe. The previous day, even. Now, just hold your horses. All us lot here saw the victim going into the building, remember? I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to.
Oh, give me a second. I gotta check something.
Ooh. I'm so yawny.
Yeah, sorry. I guess it's your turn to yawn this time. I managed fine without much yawning.
Eh.
Yeah. My D&D group wanted to talk to me And so they donate.
Aw.
Gave me a message. And now I have to read through everything they've said. There's like 70 messages. I'm a quick reader though, so.
Wait, I'm gonna run for a wee
Yeah,
while
go for
you
that,
do
and I'll
then.
sort that out while you go away.
Nice. RB. Hello.
Hello. I think I almost
Hello.
sorted it out.
Chippy, chippy.
You have to go look at bunnies or something to keep people entertained while I am temporarily pulled away.
I hope that Longest John's do another stream on Jingle Jam this year because I really like the other one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Oh, yawny. Need to
Yeah.
I need to be sleepy so we can go to bed early tonight and get up early for Dota tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dot. Oh my goodness.
All right. Sorted. I realized also, by the way, that for some reason I don't see donations show up anymore. Like I hear the
Oh.
sound and in the chat, but I don't actually see it. I think it's because I swapped to OBS rather than Streamlabs desktop thing. And that might not show the thing anymore because obviously I get the
Yeah,
donations
I have to
via
have a
Streamlabs.
separate Streamlabs tab.
Yeah, because I mean
on
the thing is
my
because I
OBS.
see oh, hello. That was just me mouse wheeling. Mouse wheel works. You can mouse wheel to move on.
Oh.
Interesting. But now I skipped a little bit. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Obviously, anyone can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw... Sorry, I had to
If
sneeze.
they've got enough money.
If they got enough money to buy a wig, you can have it. So the person that these
If you're
witnesses
gonna
saw...
wear a wig, you've got to pay.
Oh, boy.
Carry on.
Boy. Yeah, I will. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely, wearing the red hairpiece. Someone else? Do you mean to say? It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer.
Oh, very impressive, Runosuke Naruhodo.
Kazuma?
You're getting full name because you're in trouble.
Yeah, clearly. Well then, Kazuma Asogi, if that is your real name, how about you tell me what the problem is?
I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Mutter, 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 because it's entirely judiciary making up the crowd.
Yes, indeed.
Order! 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 Prosecutor Asogi, what on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopped watch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident?
Do you know?
The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing, wouldn't you, my learned friend? I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes that it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
Well, I mean, the notice board, right?
Take that!
But that's...
I can't say that I find your... What? No? Really? It literally talks all about the Reaper.
I think, does it mean more specifically, is it the photo of the woman?
Maybe. Wow. Mean.
One particular piece of evidence that really does stand out in showing what case Inspector Gregson was investigating. I say try photo of woman.
Okay, my lord, I have the answer now.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
I mean, the Red-Headed League, I would imagine.
Oh, that also does make sense, yes.
Yeah, because we only recently found out that Vigil was missing, you know? So I don't necessarily know if that's what he was investigating. But the Red-Headed League is a whole thing. So do we have the article? Yeah.
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. Oh, that's nice. So we could have either presented the red hairpiece or the article. That's nice.
Bless you.
Was that Kazuma or Alex?
That was Alex sneezing.
Okay. Because it swapped right to him and then achoo. Some stuff. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, you'd already worked it out.
Yes, I was just joking about the notice board. But wasn't there to the notice board saying something about the Red-Headed League too? I seem to remember them talking about that.
Yeah,
But
they
there
said
was
it had
notes
the
on
same notice
Yeah.
on it.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, Council?
They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact.
My
I was
lord.
looking at misdemeanor.
Miss,
I was like, what's a
misdemeanor?
misdemeanor?
The defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once. 2 redheads? Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events. Those are the 2 redheads we saw at the very beginning of the case. With
I
Sherlock
was just
Holmes.
trying to remember what voices we did for them.
I don't remember, but yeah. We'll figure it out anew when we see them.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least. The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asogi.
At once, my lord.
Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
Right? Oh, we did French and Italian voices, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To be continued.
What excellent timing if one were to
Yeah.
get a chippy tea.
For example, a chippy tea to grab during
If
this.
one is partaking in a chippy tea.
Then perhaps this is a good time for a little chippy tea. Yes, friends and watchers and wannabe peanut gallery alike. This is what we're
Wanted
going to call
criminals.
it. Wanted criminals and peanut gallery alike, yes. Kazuma comes back with a bloody sword. Oh no, they both died. Oh, what a crazy accident, coincidence. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be us for the week. Thanks for watching, everyone. We want to obviously play more of this, but next week we have something else planned. A bit of a spooky spooks thing going on. Sort of. I don't know how spooky it's going to be. We're playing Rusty Lake, The Past Within. We were given keys to it, and it looks fun. So I think that's what we're going to play next week on Friday. So we'll have a short break from Ace Attorney, but we will be back with more Ace Attorney the next week after. So that would be on the 4th, we do Rust Within. That's not what it's called. Paths Within. And then on the 11th, we'll be back with more Lawyer Time. So, yeah. 11th.
Nice.
That's the day.
Jerry is lying down on his chest in a way that his little bum's hanging off of it. Oh no! Oh, he was just stretching. I was worried he was going to fall off.
Did
Oh,
he
he's really
manage it?
precarious.
Yeah, he's
His little-
fine. He's fine.
His little feet
Sometimes you
are
gotta
almost
let-
off the edge.
Sometimes you gotta let your bum hang out. Honestly, that's it. That's all there's to it.
No
Little
baby.
Jerry. How about me? He's an old man. We've been over this. He's not just a baby boy anymore.
Baby.
We
He's just a baby.
He's not just a baby. But yeah, that's it for us. Hope you guys have a lovely time. Thank you very much for showing up, everyone. It was good to see you all. Having nice fun chats.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into. I might have to go back to the Streamlabs client for this. Either that or like not use Streamlabs for donations anymore. I think you can use other links for it as well. Like it all goes to PayPal eventually anyway. So yeah, I'll look into that a little bit. But either way, thank you very much for showing up, everyone. Thank you everyone in Briony's chat. Thank you everyone in my chat. Have a good time. We'll see you next week for The Past Within. Maybe a little spooky with a little bit of a delayed Halloween feel to it. And then we'll be back with more Ace Attorney next Friday. If you missed it, see if you can see the Plate-Up tournament that went on yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know if the first one ever went up into proper video form on the main channel or anything. But if not, it's on. You can check the VODs on twitch.tv/yogscast. And if you want to watch our point of view, it was on this channel, twitch.tv/Rudian.
Yeah.
Not gonna spoil it or anything, but it was a good time. It was a good time. Right. That's it. I have run out of things to say. What do you want to say? Do you have anything to say?
Go to bed so that you can be up for Dota.
Good call. Good call. I'm gonna go to the shops. I'm gonna probably be relaxed a little bit. So it's Dota tonight, late tonight. Yes, it is. So I was considering staying up, but
Isn't
the
it
risk
like
is if
4
I
a.m.
stay.
your time?
It is 4 a.m. and then it'll probably be for like at least 4 hours. So then I'll have to go to bed at
Yeah.
8 a.m. But that could help because then I can then wake up like I go to bed like in the afternoon, and then I can have like an 8-10 hour sleep, and I wake up at 4 a.m. again next day for the grand
For the
finals.
final. Yeah.
But
Great.
then I might have my sleep schedule entirely screwed over. So what Silas is going to try to do is wake up early and then stay up as long as possible until you're then very tired, and then go to sleep at a proper time. Is the idea.
Yeah.
So we'll see what I can do. But I do want to watch both the lower and upper bracket finals and the grand finals live. So that should be fun. That's our Dota plans anyway. If anyone else is going to watch Dota, I hope you're cheering for the same team I'm cheering on, Team Liquid for life. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Matumba Man and the four Swedes, they're cool. They're cool. The best finals would be Secret Liquid, I think. Though, to be honest, Tundra
didn't
and
really
Aster both play great.
I wasn't rooting for anyone in particular until I saw that little video of the behind the scenes. What was it? Someone surviving on 1
Blitz.
HP, and then
Yeah,
and then like they all just seemed like such a team. I was immediately
Yeah.
like, I'm rooting for them now.
Yeah.
So it's just really
Blitz,
sweet.
the manager guy. There was also like a clip of him like mentally cheering up and encouraging his team. That was really like heartwarming. It's like, I love you guys. We
Yeah.
won't do this. We like, if we go out, so we go out, but it won't be today. We're fighting together. Like very, very like coach build up thing. Blitz used to be, and kind of maybe to a degree, sort of, kind of still is. He used to be a caster and personality in the Dota scene. He used to cast a lot with Dota Capitalist, and he was really good. It was funny and smart and stuff. But eventually, he sort of stopped casting because he wanted to be more involved in the scene. So he's been coaching Liquid and that team for a while. So yeah. I'm totally cheering on them. It's gonna be great Dota either way. But you know, you always care more if there's a team you're cheering on, really. So
Yeah.
cool. Blitz shows up on Perion stream every so often. Yeah, he knows Perion. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Right. That's it for us. We have rambled on for long enough. Briony's going to go to bed, and I'm going to go to the store.
I'm going to get a chippy tea and then go to bed with my chips in bed.
Sounds like it. And eat it in bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be crumbs, but that's all right. Yeah, you can sleep on the crumbs. That's okay. You just bring over the bunnies and they can eat the crumbs, and then that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's quickly send you somewhere on a lovely raid to someone who is streaming. Nas is playing Scorn. If you want to have a different, like a tone change, yeah, let's go ahead and raid Nalzy. That's Scorn is a very mature game. It's gross and weird and strange. So, you know, maybe if you don't want to watch it, then maybe don't go. But I'm going to click the raid button. Have a good time. See you around. Bye-bye.